Hello everybody, I'm Kate Fuller, this is Julie Hurt, and we are making light to humans being. I did actually read an article, Julie, that said you should never start your videos with that, so we'll have to think of something else. Yeah, apparently it's really dull to say hello, I am. Anyway, we're really excited because Julie has been named, well actually it was last week, wasn't it? But Julie was named Danielle McKinnon's practitioner.
Featured practitioner.
Featured. I was going to say on the spot, featured practitioner, which is absolutely brilliant news. Well done, Julie.
Thank you.
And as a result of all the additional publicity, because obviously Danielle's got a very wide network and is very highly respected and trusted, Julie's doing a whole whacking pile of readings, which has really taken everything to a new level for her. So she's going to, because I'm desperate to know, and I'm sure other people do as well, is one of the amazing things about the work that we do is actually how much benefit we get out of it. So not only just the experience, obviously, which is good because obviously you're coming across different experience in that, but actually what else you have learned. So Julie's very kindly gonna, while she's still in the flush of all this new success, is going to tell us about that.
Oh, yeah. So
you go.
Yeah, thank you. Well, yeah, it has been an amazing. So it started on June 1st, and it I'm assuming it ends this week. As far as that being the featured practitioner and getting the promotions and whatnot. So, but yeah, I have met so many new people and so many animals, and I've had a lot of animals in spirit, which are, I have to say, to some degree, I'm leaning towards being more of my favorite readings because they just have, they like see things. Well, it's not like things change when they're in spirit, but they're just their messages because people miss their animals so much. I think maybe they may be more receptive to hearing what their animals have to say. They're not so worried about the behavior of, like, you know, peeing outside the litter box or pulling on a leash or anything like that. They've released all of that, and now they're just kind of open to what their animal has to say. But it's really fascinating because, as you know, as we learn this work, whenever we do a reading, there's always some message in there for us. And even when we do the intuitive coaching work, it's the same thing. Even though we're working with our guides for someone else's greatest and highest good, there's stuff in there for us to take away as well. And so the same thing. So like I did a little video and a blog yesterday, just kind of on the themes, because my guides, it was so fascinating. I was like the first 2.5 weeks, I was just like, it was like a deluge of readings. It was so cool. And then it really slowed down. And I knew part of it was because I was getting nervous, like, oh my gosh, the month is half over. Oh my gosh, you know, and starting to, like, as Abraham Hicks would say, pinch it off. So I had to just sit and really work with my guides. And I learned a lot about taking the time that I need for me to be able to do this work. I did notice that I was even more tired than before because energy work takes a lot of energy, but I know that putting myself first, which was actually one of the themes that came out of a lot of the readings, a lot of the humans that had contacted me were not putting themselves first. And so their animals from the other side were doing things to get them to understand that where your heart sings isn't it. Like one thing was, where your heart sings isn't what you're doing. You need to have your heart sing. Or you're not resting enough, or you're continually putting everybody else in front of you. Like there were all these different types of versions of that. And for me, what that theme of you're not putting yourself first was, is just, I just don't take the time for me to rest and relax and do the things that I really want to do. And so Abraham Hicks talks a lot about, in any given day, if you're drawn to do something, do that. Even if you have, like I was saying to you earlier, I will have a big, huge to-do list. But as I look at it, if my eyes glaze over and I'm like, gosh, I really want to bake today. I really, really want to bake today. Then I go bake. It's hard though, or I'll take a nap. That's another thing that guides have me do, but that's hard to do. It's a practice. Like I keep coming back to this phrase of everything is a practice. You have to start to try it, like put your toe in the water. Okay, that feels good. And then just keep trying it again and keep practicing. That's what all of this is. And none of it's perfect. And that's a whole nother topic, but not a theme from this month. But a big, big, big theme that I learned about this too was just trusting. For myself, like the animals were also telling a lot of people that they are on the cusp of opening up their intuitive abilities and that they can actually hear their animals talk with them from the other side. They can feel their animals from the other side. They see them in the dreams. they're having all these interactions. It is true. It is true. So we have to trust that. For me, the trust also came in like being able to trust my voice, in that I have always I've held back a lot, as far as, not necessarily in this show, maybe a bit.
I was going to say, you don't strike me.
Not in this show, because I trust you. So it's easy, but there'll be situations where I don't know everybody. And even in my career in advertising, man, there were lots of times when I just would not guide the client, because I felt like, oh, what do I have to say? But there's a whole element of trust that's come up. But it's really fascinating to me to kind of sit back, like really take the time and go back through the readings, because I'll take a couple notes about what the overall general lesson was and just let it sit there. And then as I went back through my notes, I could see these themes emerge. And then I sat and worked with my guides. How do these themes apply to me, and then that was like a jumping off point. And then I had I did this in automatic writing, like a larger automatic writing exercise. So that was super cool. The other thing, though, that I really learned is that because this is actually newer to people than you and I, particularly me, but I realized this even last night. So many of the people that I've met have never, ever, ever had anything, an animal communication reading, a mediumship reading, they've not had any energy work. They know nothing about this. All they know is their animal died and they have so much grief, they don't know what to do. And they find our teacher, Danielle McKinnon, and then they find us. By the way, I've referred you a couple times, just FYI, just so you know, because on things that I don't do that you do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like body code. Yeah, no, just know that. So you're welcome. But the thing that I've realized is that because they're not familiar with this, there is a nervousness on their part about what it is they need to do, how to interact with me, how to even ask their animal a question, what questions to ask. And so I've really learned that framework that soul level animal communication reading has, where we connect with the animal, we connect with the human, they can ask whatever question, the human can ask whatever question, and then we can move to the soul level, which is the 4 questions that we ask to learn how the animals come alongside to teach them a lesson. That framework really gives the human being, I have found, some comfort, because they're like, oh, I don't have to try to figure this out. And like we actually help guide them through. That was a big thing for me, because I always felt like, and this comes from the negative belief of not worthy. I always felt like, oh, I'm imposing something on them instead of taking their hand and leading them through. And that part of the conversation has just kind of opened that up a little bit more. So then there's a little bit more engagement even from the client, which is really kind of cool. What else have I learned? Oh, there is just this thirst for love and that's why I think animals are just such an awesome gateway to this whole idea of law of attraction and universal guidance and universal support. Is there
the thirst for love on the part of humans?
Yeah, we've just become so disconnected from ourselves. I mean, I know I can see that in me. We've just become so disconnected from ourselves and we don't even love ourselves. So no wonder things that we're familiar with are beginning to crumble, because we've taken away, in this non-loving ourselves, we've undermined each other, we've undermined community, we've undermined protective things to help us all, to be the rising tide that helps move all boats. But there is this whole thirst for this connectivity of something, which for me starts with your inner self, and then, which is also, if you're the divine, I believe you're the divine having a human experience. When you talk with your inner self, you're connecting to the divine. And so that connection isn't as strong as it was long, long ago. And those threads are just really, really thin, and people are trying really hard to find a way to come back, which I actually find really hopeful right now, that there's so many people trying to find that way back. So I don't know, it's been a really, really, really cool experience. And it's also helped like creativity wise, just kind of open up, what is it that I want to say? How do I want to say it? Where do I want to say it? Did I tell, were you with me the other day when I said I had trolls?
Yes,
Yeah, I got trolls.
you have arrived, as I said at the time.
That's right. That's right. It was in book club. Yeah. So
I've had a mini troll, but only on my shed website, where I did a little video of inside the shed, and the tiles I've got are like rustic tiles around the and somebody said, "Why are your tiles rusty?" I just ignored it. I don't even know how you do a comment on TikTok. So what did your troll say, Julie?
one troll said, they said, you have time to take this video down, girlfriend. They call me girlfriend. You can take this video down and not be embarrassed, or something like to that.
Do you think it could be funny?
Well, I laughed at it. I don't know if
No, if I was a friend of yours and I said that to you, that would actually be really funny.
Yeah.
I wonder what, did you leave it up?
No.
What was this, on Instagram or Facebook?
Well, I did the video on TikTok and then let it go over to Instagram. And so the troll actually came through on Instagram.
You let it go over to Instagram. Explain that.
Yeah, so you can when you post your TikTok video, look how much I've learned. You can post your TikTok video.
You were a TikTok virgin last week.
I know. Well, you can say share it on Instagram. And then it walks you through the steps to do so.
But does it share it with the TikTok logo and everything?
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So if you look for my video or my reel on squirrels, the thing that happened with squirrels right outside my window here.
I saw it on TikTok.
Yeah. Then on Instagram, when I went over to Instagram, then I got that troll, and then I got people saying no, because I said what the squirrels had said, and they're like, no, they didn't. They didn't say that. And I'm like, and I should have. I wanted the energy, because I was like a little nervous. I was nervous. So I'm a bit raw, right? Because I'm putting it out there. I didn't edit it. And I'm like, I know y'all think I'm crazy. I don't care. This is what
Embrace the crazy, Julie.
Embrace the crazy. It's still, as a human, right? It's still nervous making. So I just thought, well, I just don't want that energy surrounding my creative work. So I deleted them. Now that I look back at it, and this is, I think, what I said in book club was, next time I get a troll, people, I'm responding, and I'm going to thank them for taking the time to make a comment.
Thank you for participating.
And I may say, well, like for the guy that said the squirrels didn't say that, well, thank you for participating. I'm super curious what the squirrel said to you. And I'm not saying it in a snarky way, but it's like we all have this capability. Whether we want to tap into it or not, that's a different story. It's not,
And that's really interesting, because that's all Abraham Hicks about. Your goat has to be ungettable, because if you respond with that, even if it just sort of deflates everything, doesn't it? It's like, well, thanks for your comments. I mean, they're still going to think you're an idiot, but that's okay, because I doubt that you thought particularly kindly of them. But
well,
I actually think the comments. Sorry, Julie, you go.
And when Matt Kahn does it, I think there's like an element of, I see you, I respect your power, or I send you love, like that kind of a thing. And so that's how I would try to do it. But yeah,
I might have to think about what my response would be, so it's suitably funny as well. Yeah. I actually think you've still got time to take this down. It's quite funny under different circumstances.
I would.
You should have done that. You should have just gone, oh, ha ha, that's really funny, thank you. Or something.
Yeah, that's probably what I would answer, or just say, oh, thank you for saying, thank you for warning me. I actually think this is kind of fun. I'm going to leave it up, or something. I don't know. I don't have to justify it, but it's just, I don't know. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. I'm so grateful for all the things I've learned. I'm just it just excites me, like all the things. And here's the thing, it was so crazy. And I've already said this, but halfway through the month, I'm like, oh my God, I gotta take advantage of every single thing, because it's gonna end. And then it's like I was Cinderella after the ball. And I'm like, and then at one point my guys are like, why do you think that this ends? Just because it becomes June 30th or July 1st, whatever she may decide to do.
Is it for a month? Because does she keep promoting throughout the month? All right, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I am assuming it's for the month. I've not been told that, but I think just based on when I've seen it happen before, I'm pretty sure it's just the month. But it doesn't mean that it ends. I mean, I've met so many people, and it's more like ride that wave, Julie. This is what my guides are going, like, Julie, ride that wave instead of, oh my God, it's gonna end. Like, there's completely different energy in that. And I'm just.
And has it been mostly animal readings? Have you done any slick sessions from it?
No slick sessions. People have asked about them, but no slick sessions. I think
because Danielle doesn't really talk about that, so I don't imagine. That's interesting, because I imagine she will start as it becomes, as she wants more people to do it. But they must have seen that on your website then.
Yeah, I'm curious for her, and I know she's talked to a lot of us slicks about that. The gateway to slick is soul level intuitive coaching. For those of you who aren't sure, the gateway for slick is the animal communication, because the animals at least open people up to say, hey, let's work on this together. And then they realize there's other ways. I don't know. I also feel like something that I just keep batting around is, I just think that there's a huge opportunity for us to explain and to have people experience what a slick session is and how it can really help. I think people don't quite understand.
No, I agree.
What it is. I mean, if people don't understand animal communication, I mean, how many times I've had to explain, not to the people that have contacted me, but outside, I'm an animal communicator. Oh, so you're a behaviorist? No, and I have to go to the pet psychic, which I, didn't necessarily want to use that word. No, I'm a pet psychic. And I talk with, here's the thing. One of my clients sent me a video of another woman who said she was an animal medium and not an animal communicator. And then she started to say what the difference was, but I don't see a difference. So,
and a medium, I assume, is only with animals that have crossed over.
Yes, but she said that the way that we get information is completely different. And I don't know if I agree with, I still feel if the animal is crossed over, that I get the information the same as if the animal's alive. She said we get it telepathically, but I feel like as opposed for her, she's actually connecting with spirit. I think we're connecting with spirit. It feels very much like this animal I read last night was this dog, and he was right here. And then I just I sat with him and just described what I was feeling. That wasn't telepathic. Does it matter?
I think it's telepathic. Doesn't that just mean that it's across distance minds? I don't know that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like,
maybe.
It's like, well, actually, we're going to have Vicky on the show, aren't we? And she'll be able to tell us that, because because the stuff she's doing at the moment is soul to soul. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure what the difference is, but if I'm honest, Julie, even in our class that we're doing at the moment, where we talk about the difference of getting animal information from your guides, getting information from animals, getting information from whatever, if I really focus and I ask, they'll point out the difference, but it's not something I'm aware of. Information just comes. I set my intention, so I know that people have all these different fancy ways and others, but I don't feel a difference.
No. Well, and
when you did it between, what was it, animals, guides, and the fields, did you feel I think you did feel a difference.
I felt a subtle difference, but it was more about with whom I was speaking. It wasn't about how I was speaking. And this particular person that my client shared with me she was very much that our hows are different. But I would also say, does it really matter? Like, why does it matter? I did felt like, and I think this is my negative belief. It triggered a little bit of negative belief in me of like not worthy again, because I'm like, what does it matter? Why we're all trying to help people get to their greatest and highest good. What does it matter? Why say something negative about? Is it negative? But she may not.
Was it negative though, Julie?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So I would argue that as an animal communicator, we are communicating with the live and dead, so we are encompassing animal mediumship.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for that, Julie, because we both have to go because we're busy people. we're lighting up the world and just in a bit of a hurry doing it.
Yeah, it's not one candle at a time, it's one blowtorch at a time. Let's go.
And on that very calming note, do you want to talk us out?
Sure, yeah. So I will first say thank you, everybody that I had the opportunity to meet this month. I'm just so grateful for meeting you and all your animals. And I really am looking forward to continuing those relationships and growing even more. So thank you very much for being here, watching, making light, two humans being, which is what Kate and I are trying to do every single day. I'm Julie. Here with me as always is Kate Foggo. You can leave comments below and let us know what you think about this episode. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Links are below. Possibly someday TikTok. Who knows? We'll get there. We don't know. But stay tuned to this channel because Kate and I are talking about some really cool, interesting things that we want to do that would mean a participation, hopefully, with you. So, but more on that to come. But yeah. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you, everybody, for working with me this month, and we will see you next time. Have a good one.